Welcome back everyone to today's video, and in today's video we're going to be doing the ecmwf 42-day forecast, which will take us through the next couple of weeks and the next month. So we're going to have a look at what's been forecasted for most of November in this video and maybe a little bit further, but of course it's not going to be that accurate. Once we go over sort of a week, it's not really going to be dead on accurate, and it might not be accurate at all. It just depends if anything changes, the wind direction changes and all of that. So now before we get into it, the high pressure is the orange just here, and that means it's more drier, calm, settled weather. The low pressure is obviously the blue just here, and that will mean it's going to be more wet, windy and settled. So week 1 for the 30th of October to the 6th of November is looking like this. We've got high pressure to our south, just below Spain and Portugal, and to our east, to the east of Scandinavia. We've also got some blocking towards Greenland, just there, blocking area high pressure, trying to bring them colder winds down, but just missing the tip of Scotland. But definitely a bit cooler for this week. I'm expecting some cooler winds coming in from the northeast for some of the country eventually. So the temperatures are looking like this, and as I said, it's going to definitely be a cooler week from what we have been seeing. As you can see, these northeasterly winds are going to be coming down just like that through the country. Obviously, in the far south, it's still going to be a bit milder than average. This country around average, and I expect anywhere above from that line will probably be a bit below average, and the further north you go, the cooler it will get. So now let's have a look at the precipitation. Once again, mostly above average precipitation. Definitely a wetter week once again. No change. Scandinavia is dry. And the northeasterly is coming in from, we've seen that wet all across. Very wet in Greenland up there. Extremely wet up there. Scotland, West Scotland might be a bit drier, but except from that, most of the country is definitely all wet. Ireland, wet as well. Southeast and Ireland, a little bit drier, but still going to be above average precipitation, very wet. Probably a bit windy and quite unsettled over the next couple of weeks. So now we're going to look at week 2, which is the 6th of November to the 13th of November. And that is going to look like this. So we've got high pressure to our south still and to our east. Low pressure takes over in Greenland, and that's going to force low pressure a bit further northwards, and that is going to push the jet stream downwards as well. We just got to keep note of that, but that also means that we'll be in them westerly winds, so wet, windy and unsettled for week 2. Temperatures are looking like this for week 2. They are looking, once again, actually cooler than average on this week as well. Once again, colder, where the northeasterly winds are coming in from Scandinavia. Southeast country, maybe a little bit above average temperature, tiny bit milder than average. This country around average, then further north you go, once again, it'll be cooler and colder for some places. And over the next couple of weeks, they could be seeing temperatures going down into the sub-zero in Scotland, and definitely in night time more widespread. And Scotland, we've even seen a bit of snow with that latest storm that we've just had. The precipitation is looking like this for the week 2. Once again, the whole country wetter than average. No change there. Definitely wetter than average on the tip of Spain, near Portugal. South though, still drier than average. Scandinavia wetter than average, except from the west coast. Greenland's looking a bit drier, still wet, just there, and then Iceland's split down the middle, basically. Just there. So now let's move on to week 3. Any changes? Let's see. interesting. So the signal's already weakening. So this is from the 13th to the 20th of November. At the side there, you can't see the 20th, but that is when it is till. We've got low pressure to a northwest, low pressure to a northeast. That's probably gonna put some high pressure here. And if there's high pressure here, that could bring winds in from the east around that area high pressure. But if there's more low pressure around here and no high pressure, that's just gonna be probably just westerly once again. But if there is high pressure blocking towards Scandinavia, it's probably going to be easterly. So that could be a bit of a cooler, maybe colder for some parts of the country if that did come off. Temperatures are going to look like this. Here we go. Temperatures are, that looks like it's a split. So for the bottom half of the country, signal is weakening. We are milder, and then the top half is probably a little bit cooler than average with that easterly wind maybe just wrapping around in the north. So around average, not a tiny bit above or a tiny bit below, depends where you are. And once again, we're looking wetter than average, but maybe for in Scotland and northern England, maybe a bit around average, but most of the country is above average precipitation again. So no surprise there, really. So now let's move on to week 4, 20th to 27th of November. The advent calendars will nearly be starting at this point, and that's quite interesting. So we've not got much signal. We've got high pressure all the way down here. We've got high pressure up here towards Canada to the west of Greenland. Scandinavia's also got a blocking area of high pressure, Scandinavian high. So if there's low pressure, if there's a trough of low pressure below this area of high pressure blocking over Scandinavia, that's probably going to bring the wind around that high pressure and in from the east, maybe southeast. Depends if there's big area low pressure here. That'll probably keep it into the west. That'll probably get the south. In the south of England, probably winds in from the west. In the north, in Scotland, it's probably gonna keep the winds in from the east there. So that, once again, it's sort of a split, sort of a 50-50 if it's going to be cooler in places and if it's not. The temperatures are looking like this. Yeah, once again, it's probably a little bit below average. As you can see, there's an area of below average there. So that's probably going to be around average. Yeah, probably around average there for week 4 temperatures. But we cannot, it's getting out of range now. The signal is weakening. Precipitation, we've got nothing really. Definitely a wet signal around us still. Yeah, we've got wet signals, haven't we? So we're probably, once again, probably a little bit above average precipitation. Still probably a bit wetter than average right there. Finally, week 5 is looking like this. Ooh, don't know what that could do. It could be. Got high pressure down here, that wouldn't affect us. High pressure over there wouldn't affect us. High pressure over there wouldn't really affect us because them easterlies would just go upwards like that. So if that high pressure was around here, then that would probably be quite cool easterly winds. That would for the country. If the high pressure was like here, that would probably be some cool easterly winds. And if this high pressure carried on into Greenland, they'd probably bring them northeasterlies in, as that would be bringing the northeasterlies in as well, which is a bit, that's interesting. There's not really much you can say. If there was low pressure over us or to our west, it's probably just going to keep the wind in from the west and stay mild. It's quite cool though, wind originating from up there. Yeah, it's either westerly or northeasterly probably, but it could be any because it's that far ahead at this point. We can't really tell at all at that point. So 27th of November to 4th of December, we're getting out of range really at that point. And the temperatures are looking actually miles than average. A lot of Europe's looking mild. Only that place there and the Atlantic that's looking below average temperature everywhere. But don't take that too seriously. That's obviously not going to be correct because it's that far ahead. We can't predict that. And finally, the precipitation for 20th to 27th of 27th of November to the 4th of December is probably a bit drier in the north, probably wetter in the south. I'm not sure. It's around average for most of the country, and we can't say much more than that. So thanks everyone for watching. That has been your ecmwf 42-day forecast for the rest of November. We're not in November yet, but for the rest of October and November and the start of December. But once we get past halfway through November, I don't really think we can predict that that's actually going to happen because it's that far in front. So don't take any of it too seriously, but it could come off. It's just options what could happen. So thank you everyone for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.